Good morning everyone and welcome to Let's Shop Cake Live. My name's Tracy Mann from Tracy Mann Cakes, and today this is our Jubilee edition of our shopping channel. So if you haven't joined us before, then get ready to sit back, have a look at some of our new products, watch lots of demonstrations and then go shopping. So you'll see an address that's written underneath at the moment, which is www.letsshopcakelive.co.uk. That is the place that you're going to be able to find all of our products. Now we are a UK based company, so if you want to go and have a look over there, you'll see everything that is available in the UK. We are streaming on Facebook, so if you're watching us on Facebook, we are live now. If you're watching us on YouTube, you can go back and watch it at any time, but we are also streaming live on YouTube as well. So if you are one of these people that struggle with your signal or anything to do with Facebook, then you can watch this over on my YouTube channel, which is at Tracy Mann Cakes. Good morning to some of you that are joining us. If you're on Facebook, you are able to comment and we are able to respond as best we possibly can, although I need to point out I'm on my own. So Kelly is not here today. Kelly is at work, so it's just me. I'm hoping she's going to be back at some point, but anyway, it's just me again. So I will do my best to get us through this demo this morning. Now we're starting early, so thank you very much for all of you that set reminders and tuned in at 9:30. We are going to be finishing just before 11 o'clock this morning because I need to get on an 11:20 train, so I will be rushing out of here at that time. So we are going to be live between now and just before 11 o'clock. So there we go. Very impressed that you've all managed to find me at 9:30. Thank you very much. So we're going to be having a look at lots of Jubilee things today. This is almost like the last thing that we're going to be doing before Jubilee. I'm not going to be live next week because it is actually Kelly's birthday next week. So we're going to be celebrating that next week. And I've got 2 weddings as well. So there's a lot going on next week. No lives at all. There might be a live on the gold membership group, but I haven't put it in the diary yet. I need to see how my wedding cakes go. So I've got 2 weddings next week plus Kelly's birthday, so there is a lot going on. So there we go. Very exciting week and times coming up. So because we're now rapidly running towards Jubilee, we are focusing on that today. We are also looking at some of the new cookie cutters that have come out. Of course, there are more, one of which complements the bottle, which we've already got out, and of course the Jubilee crown. So I've given you the option to have a Jubilee crown as well, so I think that's quite a good idea. You're going to have a look at it anyway. I'm going to show you all the videos of how to make it as well, because as usual there's always lots of techniques with everything. And then most importantly is that we need to talk about the Jubilee cake toppers for those of you that have actually bought them or those of you that want to buy them, and just explain to you what you're going to do with them in terms of getting them off these backing sheets. So I have been posting furiously about this all over my social media this week because the company we use has changed the backing paper. So I'm going to be talking about that later on and showing you and explaining to you what you need to do. It is just a different technique, so nothing complicated. It's just a different technique and a different way of doing things. So as ever, we are obviously going to start with the cake school, but we're not going to talk about the cake school too long today because we have got lots of other Jubilee things to do and I need to go to London. So we're going to move on as fast as possible. So we have got, where are we? There she is. So we've got Maisie coming out. There she is. It's my new cake class. Let's just move that out of the way. Nice little piece of paper in the background there. So Maisie is the new, the next class to come out on my cake school. Maisie is going to be coming out on the 23rd of May. So she will be out before we go live again. So that's why we're showing you Maisie today. So Maisie's made out of chocolate paste. She's actually a model, as you can see. She is modelling. She is my hairdresser's dog. She is from a live photograph. So this class is going to teach you how to make a dog. Or you could apply the same rules to a cat, having said that, or any animal, from a photograph. So we're going to show you how to convert this into a cake. So what you'll need to do for this is, if you want to join this class, you can easily go and sign up for it, no problem at all, or you can join as a monthly member. Now this is included in Sugarcraft. So we have 4 different types of membership. We have Sugarcraft, we have bronze, we have silver, and we have gold. So Sugarcraft is all the Sugarcraft stuff. So that includes, I'll give you a very quick flashback of what it includes. It includes airbrushing. It also includes, there it comes, just had to get in there today, didn't it? The lovely Jubilee crown. So if you want to have a go at doing the Jubilee crown, then you can have a go at doing Jubilee Crown, and it's only going to cost you £6.95 because it is a part of Sugarcraft membership. So if you want to join that one, you can. There's you can buy it as well outright, which means you wouldn't need to keep paying every month if you don't want to. It's entirely up to you, but we do run a non-contract situation with our classes. So in other words, you can come and go as you please. So if you want to join up for a month, great, £6.95 for the Sugarcraft membership, £12.50 for Gold membership. Gold is access to everything. So Gold gives you all the cake painting. So on top of that, you would get the tiger, the tiger even that's coming out on the 11th of June. So you will have access to cake painting as well, and all the other lovely cake paints that we've got. So we've also got things like dogs, again taken from a real photograph, lots and lots of different classes that are available on Gold membership. And also they get their own group, they've got their own Facebook group, they have their own Facebook lives, they normally get videos of me at weddings delivering cakes in a panic, all sorts of things, and they are able to ask whatever they want to ask and I will jump in and help. So there you go. So our next class is Maisie the Cavapoo, or a Cockapoo if you want to change over to Cockapoo. It is very easy to change this class over. So if you do want to do a different dog, or if you want to do a different cat, or these flowers are gorgeous as well. There's all new flowers on here as well. So again, if you want to learn how to do this one, it is on the Cake School now. So if you want to sign up for it, you have to go to the Cake School. Do not go to Let's Shop Cake Live because you will not find it on there. Okay, for school stuff only, tracymanncakeschool.co.uk. Gold membership is brilliant. I know someone's just said it. Well, they've said good membership, but gold membership is excellent. Sugarcraft membership as well. Any of them really. It's all working very well. Everybody's very happy with their groups. So I'm very pleased it's going well. And you can't get any cheaper than that for £6.95 a month, can you? And I think that's a pretty good deal. And the Jubilee Crown at the same time. I'm going to hold it up, you see, and then you can see how... This is the bit where it normally falls off the board and then my dad gets a good laugh. So... That's not going to happen because I've glued it down. It's definitely going nowhere. There we go. Let's put Maisie out of the way because we don't want her getting damaged. So we'll put her over there and I will return. We have got more classes coming out, but we will talk about those as we go towards them. Today we're very much focused on Jubilee because it is coming very quickly at us now, and we want to run through lots of things to do with that. So I've got a few little demonstrations lined up for you, and we're going to show you some of the new cookie cutters as well and go through that. But anybody who has any questions about the Cake School, then do please get in touch. I always say the best recommendation is from the students themselves. You can see they're making some comments already if you are watching on Facebook. These are not words I'm telling them, these are words they're telling you. It is a really lovely place to be. We've got some amazing classes. There's about 90 odd classes now on there, still rapidly growing, and we just intend to continue doing that. So there you go. So if you want to join us, and I've said before, I work as a commercial cake decorator. I am still working. I still sell cakes to people and I'll record them now, and so you have the benefit of up-to-date current cakes as well. So it is a very how can I say the right word, commercially orientated school as well. So we are very much into doing your cakes, not as fast as possible, but certainly as effectively as possible so that you can make the most amount of money if you are a cake decorator, or that you just haven't got the time to spend on doing lots of cakes, but you want the same result. And I feel like that sometimes. There's not enough hours in the day, so there you go. And as I say, the gold members as well, they do have their own Facebook page, and they're all chatting away, lots of extra Facebook lives and stuff, so all sorts of things going on. So it's a very busy week next week. As much as I'm not live, so you'll probably think I'm at home putting my feet up, I am actually recording all of next week, so I will be busy doing that. So there's lots going on. Right, let's go back to Let's Shop. There we go. Let's have a look at the cake that I did on Tuesday night. There we go. Right, so this is one I made this week on a live using some of our new moulds. So you will be able to find these on Let's Shop. We have got the ice cream van cake topper. Now you will get that on a sheet and you will need to mount it on some board and be able to put it on there on top of your cake. Now I have got a short video on this. I'm just checking out which one it is that I need to show you. So I'm going to just run a very little video that just shows you what to do with that particular cake topper. Okay, so this is how I made the cake topper. So I have got here an edible sugar sheet, and I have cut out my ice cream van, there it is, all the way around the outside edge, and then I'm just going to take a pen. Now this is a single thick cake card, so it's not double thick because they're absolutely impossible to cut. This is a single thick one because I want my ice cream van to stand upright. Now, I could set it on pastelage and fiddle around and all that, but I'm not going to because no one's going to eat it. So I'm going to go straight for mounting it on a piece of card up here. So I've just got to, basically, I'm just drawing around the edge of it, and then I'm going to cut it out. There we go, like so. Just take hold of my scissors. These cut fairly easily, actually. They're not too bad. They are all right to cut, whereas I say the double thick ones are a nightmare. So I'm literally going to go all the way around the edge of that. So you get the idea of that. So I'm not going to stand here and do this because otherwise we will be watching paint dry. So you get the idea. So I'm going to do that. So we'll come back and do that in a second. Then what I'm going to do is I am going to roll out my sugar paste. So I am actually going to mount it on a piece of sugar paste to go on the board. To make a bit more sense in a minute. I could just glue it on, but I'm not. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it properly. So I'm going to put it on a bit of sugar paste, only a little bit. So just take hold of some sugar paste. Doesn't matter what it is. Just move that out of the way. And then we'll roll it out. Doesn't have to be your best bit of sugar paste either. If you've got something around that needs using, then use that. Okay, now what I need to do is just put some icing sugar down. That's me running across the other side of the room. Because this needs to not move, this needs to not stick to the board. I need it to be moving. Let's check. See what I mean? Just that bit of friction under there will mean it's moving. Let's have a little look and see if it fits. Tiny bit more. And lift it again. How are we doing? That's better. Right, then we're going to peel the back off. So we need to find the back of the paper, because if you're doing any sugar sheets you need to remove the backing. And then I'm going to pop that on there like so, but I'm going to paint some water on here. Now I'm not going to put on a great big thick layer of water, so I'm just going to basically make my brush damp, and then I'm just going to go over it like so. Pop that on. Now any water contact that comes onto here now will remove the print, so you've got to make sure, I'm just going to pull that bit out there, you've got to make sure that you don't touch the water onto here, otherwise you've had it. Right, now we're going to cut, so I'm going to get my, let's get one of these pizza wheel type things. So around we go. So I'm just going to go all the way around the edge like so. That's fairly straightforward, isn't it? Okay, so I'm going to go all the way around the edge of that until that's complete, and then I'll show you how to put it onto the board. Okay, there's my ice cream van shape. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to attach some lollipop sticks to the back of this. I'm just going to turn it over like so. I'll try and put two in at once. It's really lucky, isn't it? Let's see if I can manage that. So just going to close it like that. The minute icing sugar comes into contact with sellotape, you have it. So be careful. Do that again. Sometimes I end up using a hot glue gun for this because of the fact that the sellotape and the icing sugar definitely don't mix. So if you're having difficulties, then use a hot glue gun. That's what I say. Right, let's just trim those bits off there. We don't want those. Let's get rid of those. Turn it around this way. Okay, that should be fine. Right, now what we're going to do is I'm just going to take hold of some water. I'm just going to paint this. Then I'm going to leave this to dry overnight. So this is, if you imagine this is like covering a cake board, isn't it? So when we do a cake board, we use water, so it'll be the same thing. Okay, let's grab this we're going to pop that on. Now we're going to slide it into position because we can, because we've got water on there, and try hard not to get it on your topper. Okay, there we are. Right, that's it, job done. So we're going to leave that to dry overnight, and that'll be ready for the morning. That's pretty straightforward, isn't it? It's not difficult. So if you want to have a go at making a cake topper yourself with an edible image, then that is what you would do. So maybe when I show you some of the Jubilee stuff later on, you might like to make a disc that's standing up on top of a cake. You would follow the same instructions as what I've just given you there on the ice cream ban. So using thin cake boards, I find, is an excellent way of propping up images without actually having to do other bits and pieces, you know, as in like put it on sugar that's set and standing the risk of humidity and all these things. For me, it's about security and making sure that whatever I'm using is going to stand upright and not going to keel over when I hand that cake over. That's very important. So anyway, that's a really interesting way that you can make a cake topper. So going back to that cake, so we had on here as well, I can't dem it today because I don't have enough time, but when I come back in a couple of weeks time, I am going to show you how to do that fab lolly because it was just the best thing ever. But you can see on there as well, there is the ice cream cone. So these are all our chocolate molds. So again, if you go on to Let's Shop Cake Live, you will find them on there. We have got 3 different types of lollies. We've got a round one, we have got a triple one, and we have got a flat one. Now the flat one is the one that made the fab lolly that's at the bottom there. So if you can see that one there. And then also on the top, if you look very closely, you'll see some little pink flip-flops. And that's part of an FPC mould, which again we do have on Let's Shop, and we will be demonstrating that on another occasion. Again, not today because we are doing Jubilee. But again, that is in stock. So if you do want to have a go at making the little flip-flops, they are perfect cupcake topper size. So if you're doing a bit of a beach theme, maybe you're having a bit of a beach theme party, or you know someone whose birthday it is that loves to go to the seaside, all that kind of stuff, then this mold is for you. It's a really sweet little mold, that one. The lollies are quite big. You can see how big they are in terms of that cake. So that cake itself was about 4 inches in height, and they were near enough the whole of that cake, but they are fab to make. This cake did go off to another charity. It went off to a Nurses Appreciation Day, so I'm sure they enjoyed it, and there you go. So that's a cake you can do for the summer. Right, okay, new cookie cutter time. I know there's probably some of you cursing me, but you know what? I've got lots of ideas. When the ideas come, we have to like embrace this thing. So we did do a few weeks ago bottles, and they were very popular, very, very popular. I'm going to put a bottle on there so you can see what I mean for those of you that missed it. In fact, I'll now run across the other side of the room and find the other ones. What did I do with the other bottles? There they are. So we have got bottles that are for mainly champagne. We do beer ones, all sorts of different things that we've been doing. I'm coming back again now. So there's the red wine. There's the champagne one that we made live. So we made these about 4 weeks ago and everybody absolutely loved it. So if you've got a bottle, what are you missing? We're missing, got a glass, how come out? So we're now introducing our Prosecco glass. So I'm going to show you now how this works. It's a very, very simple cookie cutter, and it's brilliant because it does a wine glass without that nasty thin stem that you have to worry about. It's all done very, very straightforward. You're going to love it. So we're going to show you now how to do this. Very exciting. So we've done our bottles, now we need a glass. So we've got mugs for the beer. So if you want to do a beer mug, we do have a mug cookie cutter as well, and it is on the Let's Shop page. So if you wanted to tag that with that, because mind you, beer in a wine glass, I could take that. I'm going to move these out of the way and we'll have a look at this new cutter. So if I turn it over, you're going to see under there is some markings there. Now they will mark the biscuit when you cook it. So I'm going to hold it up like that and you'll see the markings there. So there's a line going across the top there, and then you'll see a stem that appears at the bottom there, just down there. Okay, that's all I need. I don't need anything else, just those little guidelines there. So I was saying it's very, very easy to do this one. Now we'll just do it in white. Let's keep it straightforward. I have actually done a pink one, so I can show you what that looks like as well. And of course you can make the glass as full or as empty as you want. So it's going to be nice and straightforward. So I'm just going to do some of it with sugar paste and some of it with royal icing. Now you could do this with royal icing if you want to. I'm not going to because I haven't got enough time for it to dry, but if you wanted to do it with royal icing you could. So I'm just going to roll out a little piece of sugar paste there, and then what I'm going to do, I'm going to take hold of my cookie cutter like so, and the only bit I'm interested in is this part here. I'm not interested in anything else, so I'm just going to pop that on like so it doesn't really matter if it overhangs. Press that down, give it a little wiggle, make sure it's cut through like so, and then just lift it off like that. Okay, you see what's happening here? Then I'm going to decide how deep I want my glass to be, or how full I want my glass to be. So I'm going to take hold of my plastic side scraper here, and let's put that there. Let's have it about there. We'll have it quite full, I think. So I'll cut that off there, like so. Now the bottom of it, if you take hold of another plastic side scraper and just hold it like that, if you take that, if you haven't got the markings on there, you can turn this over. Sorry, I've got to put this down to do this. Turn it over like so. Ooh, let me just catch it. There we go. Press that down and you will catch the bottom of that wine glass. So when you turn that back over, you have got the markings there that you can then cut round. So I'm then going to cut along there, like so. I think I've cut it. I don't think I've cut it straight. I think I've had too many wines at this point. I'm just looking at this going, that is not straight. Right, let's take hold of this, and we're going to get hold of a bit of royal icing. Now don't forget, we're not going to do the whole thing, so you might want to put your royal icing on the back of your piece of sugar paste. It's entirely up to you, but just remember you're not filling the whole thing. And then I'm going to place it onto my cookie like so. So that's my contents of my glass. Again, because cookies tend to spread, although the recipe we've got is actually pretty good, I have to say, you can adjust them. So if you just need to kind of smooth it down and get it into position, you can. So that's the contents of our drink. And then we're going to take hold of a piping bag with some royal icing in. So you're going to need to do a little bit of piping here. Now I've got in here currently Wilton 3, which is quite a thick nozzle. You can use a 2 as well, that's okay. I'm sure you don't need to use a 1 on this occasion, which I'm sure my royal icers will be thrilled about. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take the piping nozzle here and we're going to just pipe slowly a stem that's going to come down here like that, and then we're going to just follow the lines and we're going to go across the bottom here, and we're going to go the same the other way. Okay, we can also then pipe across the bottom here because we want a flat wine glass. We don't want one that's about to keel over. And then if your icing needs adjusting, I'm not going to use that brush, that's naughty because that's a cake painting brush. I shall get told off by my students and myself. So you can then take hold of a brush and just push them into position. So if you want to flatten it down a little bit, then we're going to turn it around. And we're going to start at the bottom here. Let me make sure I'm on camera for this, which I am. Good. We're going to start at the bottom and we're going to connect our icing, and we're going to very carefully bring this all the way up like so. So just keep the icing going. So this is not a sort of frightening piping situation. This is very straightforward. It's just a few straight lines. And for those of you that are on my school, we have a royal icing masterclass on there teaching you how to make it, how to pipe with it, straight lines. And this is all this is, very much beginners. So if you want to find out about that, again, that's included in that £6.95 membership we were talking about earlier. So it's a bargain, that Sugarcraft membership. You're getting so much information. Okay, so we get to the top like so. And then we're going to just go across here. I'm trying to pipe this really slowly, but I'm finding it quite difficult to do it this slow. Okay, and then we'll go across like so. There we go. Let's turn that around. Da 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 da. Right, so we've got a wine glass. we have our contents. So you can imagine with this, if you wanted to change the contents of this, let's say you wanted to make it pink or orange or red or whatever colour in drink that you have, you can change your sugar paste in the middle, or you can obviously flood with royal icing, leave that to dry, and then pipe your outline going around the edge. Now the reason I went for Prosecco is because I want to then do some bubbles, of course, or champagne. So then what you could do is take some of the royal icing. So I've just got another little brush here, and I'm just going to sort of dab a little bit of extra royal icing on here. So I'm just going to put some up a little bit higher, but the majority along the edge here, down a little bit into like so. And then we have got the lovely Kelly sprinkles, the little white ones that we use for literally everything. And then you can take hold of these and pop those on there. So if you've got a wedding to go to as well, these are lovely toasting, champagne-y, wedding-y type things, I think, as well. So not only for the Jubilee, but also for celebrations, 18th birthdays, all of those kinds of things. You can take a scriber and just push them into the sugar paste if they're sort of wandering around a little bit. And put a few going down the glass as well. Again, you can just push those in because the sugar paste is still soft. Then you should still be able to put those where you want to put them, like that. This one's not cooperating, of course. Let's move that up there. Right, you can stay there. Let's put another one on there. There we go. So you get the idea. So you basically end up with a wine glass like that. It's very, very straightforward. It's not difficult at all. And you've ended up with a lovely glass of something without this worry of this thin neck here. Because often we've looked at cookie cutters. We've got the Imperial Crown coming up in a minute. And I'm going to show you what you need to be aware of with the Imperial Crown, because it does obviously have a little bit that is like this, but we've made it a little bit thicker to try and combat that. But if you're trying to do a glass, it's quite difficult to do a glass without this thin stem here. So I think I've incorporated that in quite nicely because I think it's made it a little bit easier. I did a pink one yesterday, so there's a pink one with some piped little bits and pieces there as well, with a slightly shorter stem. You can adjust the stem as well, so if you fancy the glass being a little bit taller, there's no reason why you can't cut a little bit higher up. So if you fancy a taller glass, just increase the length of that stem and then begin your sugar paste a bit higher, and then obviously you can adjust the level of drink, the colour of drink, so whether or not it's sort of champagne or red wine. Obviously without red wine you won't need the bubbles, but the idea behind this was looking at Prosecco and champagne and celebrations and those kinds of things, which is why we've ended up with a glass that looks like this. But you can see it's very straightforward to do, it's not complicated, and it does go very nicely with the champagne. How about that? That's not too bad, is it? So if you are making any treat boxes in terms of Jubilee or even wedding, celebration, all of these things, there you go, look, pour it all in. That's why I get carried away. They do go very nicely together. So this one is one of our new cookie cutters. We've got 2 out today. I'm going to go through the other one with you in a second, and it is available now. So this one is listed as something like Prosecco and champagne glass, and that's what you find. So that's what it looks like. Those are the markings inside, and you're going to use the markings to help you lay it out. So that's how that one works there. So let me put that one down. There we go. Cheers, everybody. Put those on there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to swap everything around because we are going to be looking at the Imperial Crown. Now I have got my own cookie cutter. I have not been able to find one at all, so I've completely designed my own one, and I'm hoping that you are going to be very inspired by this, obviously, and I'm going to run through how to do the Imperial Crown. So if you've been looking at some of my designs in terms of the Imperial Crown, but maybe it's a bit too much for you and you don't fancy doing it, or you like the idea of doing a cookie versus a cake, then this section is for you coming up. Now, because the cookie cutter itself, and I'm going to bring it on and show you now what it looks like. So there it is. It's absolutely beautiful. I'm very pleased with this. This is my Imperial Crown cookie cutter. I'm going to turn it over. You can see there are some markings on it. Now, in order to make sure that you are going to be able to use this properly, I have recorded a video of me cutting out this stuff with the cookie cutter, because I'm going to show you how to decorate it, but I need to show you how to use it properly, because when we do this, you can imagine here it's quite tight, and I need you to watch this video to make sure you fully understand how to get this out. Otherwise, you're all going to be going nuts at me going, it doesn't work, it doesn't work. It does work, but of course, with everything else, there is a technique. So I'm going to run this video for you now, and then I will get ready to show you how to decorate it. Okay, in this video I'm going to show you how to use the Jubilee crown. So I've got my cookie dough here, and I'm going to carefully roll it out like so. I don't want it to be too thick, but I need it thick enough that I'm going to get the markings that I need for it. So I'm going to take hold of the crown, I'm going to pop it down onto my cookie dough and press down. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to lean into the cookie dough, just press down these extra markings on here to make sure that they mark the cookie dough. Then I'm going to carefully peel away the cookie dough. Now when you come to release this, do not pick it up and let this part become detached. So if you leave it in position like so and pop your finger under there, you can very carefully peel back that part and it will remain attached. If you pick it up like this, that part is going to come apart there, and then you can lift this like so and just pop it onto your baking tray. So I'm just going to show you once more. So cookie dough, it's a bit like when we did the snow globe. There's a specific method for this to make sure that you get it right. So go again. Like so. So thickness wise, about sort of that thickness there. Got a hole in it, one out. Make sure we've got some flour under there. So take your cutter, press down, push down into these pieces here. You can see the cookie cutter bending a little bit. Then peel away your cookie dough. Then you're going to leave it in position, very important, and lift. Pop your finger under there and very carefully just edge away. Now sometimes if your cookie dough is a little bit shallower, which mine is on this one here, you can take your crown, turn it upside down, pop it back into the mould there and just press down, and then you will be able to pick up the pattern that's in there. Again, carefully release and turn it over. These little marks here, again, if you've missed those, you can always add those by using something like a cutting wheel just to put them in there. So the most important thing with this is just making sure that you get this piece off intact, and all you need to do is follow these instructions. Okay, so it's quite a big cookie cutter. Someone's picked up on that already. It is 11, I was looking for a tape measure then, but I did actually measure it before I went live. So it's 11.5 centimetres tall. So if you're going to make a box, like a treat box, it's going to be your feature cookie. If you're going to do it as a cookie to give away, I'm going to strongly recommend that you put into your packet, your cellophane bag, a little piece of maybe white card to stop it getting damaged, because you can see where the vulnerability is with this. It's that top part there, which we can't avoid because that's the way the crown is built, but it's the part that's most likely to become damaged if there is a problem. So I'm going to show you now how to decorate one. I think I've just picked up one. Did I pick up one that I like? I'm very fussy, you know. I'm going to pick up one I like. I just looked at that one and I like that one. I'm going to do this one instead. So we're going to now have a look at this crown. If I press the right button, there we go. So that's the crown, and I'm going to show you how to decorate it. I've got one that's almost finished, so it's a bit sort of Blue Peter-esque here. So I'm going to start this off and then finish with the other one, because the other one is at the stage I need it to be later on. So first thing we're going to do, now if you wanted to just leave this, if you didn't want to do the whole decoration that I'm going to do, you could simply put on some of the gems that I'm going to put on, but you'll see that in a minute, so we can kind of backtrack a little bit on that. But if you want to do the feature crown, then this is how you're going to do it. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take hold of my royal icing, and I'm going to cover the whole thing with purple sugar paste. So that's the first thing I'm going to do. So actually it didn't really matter about the markings for this bit because I don't need to see them. So I'm just going to cover that up. And I've already dyed myself up some purple sugar paste. So let's put that up there. We'll give that a roll out. I'll just find myself a bit to do here. Grab this. Right, let's give it a bit of a knead to get it going, so we need it to be flat. Let's pop you there, and then we'll start rolling out. So as I say, it's quite big, so you need a reasonable amount. So I decided to do the whole thing in purple and then paint it, and you'll see in a minute kind of how this works. It works it's quite clever how it works. So let's put that on there, make sure it's moving around, so we don't want it to be sticky. And it is getting warmer, isn't it? So suddenly everything's getting a bit more sticky, so we just have to be a bit more careful with everything. There we go, that'll be right. Right, where is it? There we go. So what we're going to do now is we're going to pop that onto there, like so, press down, and then I'm going to give it a little wiggle, like so, and then I'm going to remove the paste like that. Now, what I should have done, which I forgot to do, is put this underneath. So I'm going to see if I can do it, which I can. Oh, perfect. Right, so ideally you want to cut it out on something like a plastic side scraper, because you're going to need to pick it up. So I'm going to turn it over like that. I'm going to hold it. You'll see it's dropping in the centre there. And I'm just going to press this down. Now, the reason I'm having to do this is because the sugar paste is going to be thinner than the cookie mix. So I need to be able to put my get my marks on here to help me decorate it. So that's why I've done it. Okay, and then I'm going to flip it back, and then I'm going to very carefully push this out. And I just need some basic guidelines. I don't need it to be perfect. I just need it to give me the image that I've got there, which is perfect. I'm just going to put a bit more icing up here because I don't think I've got enough. Like so. And then we're going to pop this on. Oops. Bring it down a little bit, pop it on like so. Just make sure we've got it all lined up. So there is a little bit of decorating involved in this, so depending on how much you want to do. So if you didn't want to do it like this, you could, as I say, just do it all white if you particularly want to, and just put your own sparkles on. You don't have to do the Imperial Crown, but it's such an iconic piece of jewellery, or crown, that I thought we must do this, because it's just the only way that we can truly replicate this. Now I'm going to just bring my cocoa butter in, she says, try not to drop it. Put it there. I'm just going to light this up. So this is my chrome food warmer with a candle in the middle. Just going to pop my metal paint palette on top there, because we're going to need to do a tiny bit of painting just to give ourselves a bit of a better background colour than we've currently got, because we've obviously got purple at the moment, and purple is fine for some of it but not for all of it. So we're going to help ourselves here by just painting some of the background with a little bit of grey. So we're going to have a little bit of black here, so I'll just pop a little bit of black dusting colour down. Whoops, the whole thing, of course. And then we're going to have some white, which I have the most enormous pot ever. There we go. Colour Splash Violet is also completely fine for the crown, absolutely. Just put plenty of it in. There's no reason why that can't work. Okay, and then we need our cocoa butter, which is what we need to get it melted. I'm running out, so I need to get some more. So I'm just going to pop that on there. And so the metal paint palette's getting hot, and in the process of it getting hot, then you'll find that it will start to flood. Melt. I'm reading flood and melt at the same time. Someone's put flood icing would be fun to do, and yes it would, but again it's a time issue with demo, which is why I've done it as a paint like this. So you only really need these two. Now you are going to need some other colours for the gems. Now I'd just like to point out that I have got a set of Wonder Dusts on the Let's Shop page. There's 7 of them together. Now these are the colours that I did use for the Imperial Crown. So the project, the big cake project that we have to look at every time we go live because it's so amazing, there it is. There are 7 gems colours that I've used for that particular project, and I'm reflecting that in this. So I'm not using all 7, but I'm certainly using a proportion of them. So including, oh no, I'm using silver because that's included. So yes, I am using a proportion of them. So if you want to have a go painting this, there is a set of 7 dusts available. And they're not just for the crown, they are beautiful dusts. You can use them for literally anything and everything. So don't feel that just because you've got them and then you don't know what to do with them. The shelf life is absolutely huge. What are we talking about on this? It's a bit small, that's the only thing. And my glasses are somewhat not strong enough. Hold on, where are we? I did read it yesterday. Okay, there it is. What's that say? I think it says something like the 4th, 2031. So you've got a huge amount of time to do it. So you've got plenty of opportunity to use all these dusts of Christmas and all these other bits and pieces. And no doubt, you know me, I'll come up with various things. So let's have a look at what we're going to be doing here. I'll just put the crown there so you can see what it looks like. So I'm going to take hold of this paintbrush here. These are one of my numbered paintbrushes. It's paintbrush number 3. So we need a fairly wide brush to do this. I'm just going to check it's not got any colours in it, which it hasn't. I'm going to grab some white, grab a bit of black, and just make up a pale grey colour, so more like a sort of silvery type colour, because I want to be able to just paint the base before I put my piping over the top. Otherwise, I'm just going to see nothing but purple, and I don't want to see that. So I'm just going to come across here like so. So we're only going to paint a couple of little bits on here, nothing too drastic. So literally straight down there like so. Okay, we go around the outside edge as well so we don't see the purple further around. And then what we're going to do, we're going to come down here to this point and just paint all the way down here and across. Now we're going to paint over this base. That's where we're going to put our big gem, but we will do that later on. So this cutter I have designed and it is only available here. We are not selling our cutters anywhere else. So if you do want it, you are going to have to go to Let's Shop to get it, because we're not selling our cutters anywhere else. They are here. I've spent a lot of time designing these cutters and I want them to be with us if I can. Now I'm going to turn it round slightly, and all I'm going to do next is take my paintbrush and I'm going to paint a line going round the outside edge of this crown. I'm going to come down here to there. Okay, so I'm just going to thicken that up a little bit. So this is a background colour, okay? The only reason I'm doing this is to cover up the purple, and it will make a bit more sense in a minute when I do the rest of it. But at the moment you're probably thinking, what on earth is she doing? But anyway, it will make more sense. So again, we'll come down here. Round we go. If you don't have any cocoa butter paints, you could do this with dusting colours and alcohol if you particularly want to, but I'm a bit sort of cocoa butter orientated, so I've always got it on standby whenever I need it. So there we go, you can see the basic way that's working there. Right, I'm going to clean my brush up, and then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to paint that bit across the bottom there, the white fur trim. So I'm going to get my white, I'm going to make a really nice thick white paint. And then I'm just going to kind of stipple it across this bit here because I don't want it to be flat. So if I just kind of stipple it, still using paintbrush 3. If anybody's thinking, what on earth is she talking about? I have got paintbrushes that we use with numbers on them, and it helps me to teach my classes. So when I'm teaching, I always refer back to these paintbrushes. So this is my paintbrush 3. We only ever use these paintbrushes for this. We don't use them for anything else. We don't use them with sugar glues or anything else. They are our painting brushes, so they're precious. So we're going to come across here like this. Now you could pipe this. So as another alternative, if you wanted to finish this slightly differently, for those of you that fancy doing the royal iced version, you could use the grass nozzle. That would be good to do the fur across the bottom if you wanted to make it a bit more 3D. That would work well, or you could do a little swirl maybe. But we want it to be nice and bright because it's a fairly white bottom on that. There we go, and then we'll leave that to dry. So we don't have to do anything for that for the moment. Now, while that's drying, I'm going to have a look at the gems. So for this one, we are going to be using the multi-gem mould. Now, I have got some of these left. We did have them in packs of 2 with the curlicues, which people have been using on, you've named it, the lovely Imperial Crown that I'm talking about non-stop. So we have got them singly as well. So if you go to the website, you'll either get the curlicues together with the multi-gem or the multi-gem on its own. So it's entirely up to you. So let's put that down there like this. And again, for anybody who's thinking, think I'd like that, but I only want to, you know, Imperial Crown, it's all going to be over by the 4th of June. Believe you me, I have got major plans for this. This is going to feature in one of my classes. We're going to be doing a sort of Bridgerton jewellery type class, and that's what we're going to be doing with this mould. So this mould is coming back in a big way. So this is going to be something you're going to see again and again. So I've already cut out some of my gems there, you'll see them there. So I'm just going to show you the final top one. So I've got myself a little bit of coloured, I'm actually using Massaccino, which is quite a strong sugar paste. And I'm just going to, you actually should be using model ink paste, get your teeth in, model ink paste or pastelage, much easier to deal with them in than this, but I'm kind of just grabbing anything I can at the moment to get this done. I'm going to press that down like so, and then we can just bend it back. And then we have our little gem just there. Now these gems obviously completely the wrong colour at the moment. So let's pop them up onto the plastic side scraper. Now you can do all of these in advance. You don't have to do them as you do your crowns. So if you work out how many you need, and this is the combination that you need, or you need one more actually, one more white one. Let's do one more big white one. So we've got sort of a red one. We should have 3 blue ones and 2 green. And then another kind of diamond one, but you can do your own. You don't have to do that like this. I am just trying to be as true as I possibly can to the Imperial Crown, which I'm now obsessed with. Every time I see it on the television, I'm glued to it. I did watch the state opening of Parliament about 2 inches away from the screen this week, looking at the Crown. Isn't it just such an iconic piece of, oh, I just love it. I just think it's amazing. And, you know, to watch it being led into Parliament, I need a bit more paste. To watch it being led into Parliament was just incredible. I was like, gosh, that's such a symbol, isn't it? So let's press that down. Take that out. So that's our big feature diamond there. Like so. Right, okay, so now what we need to do, I've got some colours here. Now, again, these are from the Wonder Dust range, which we have on the website. So we have 7 together, which belong to the Imperial Crown. We have fine silver on its own because it's such a nice colour, and I'm really happy to be stocking that colour all the time because I just love it. And we have Regal Purple on its own, but I'm not using Regal Purple for this project. Even though there's a lot of purple involved, I don't think it needs to be particularly sparkly. So the ones I'm tipping in at the moment, you might be off screen for those, that one is called Frozen Blue. We have got Fusion Green somewhere, there it is, Fusion Green. And we've got this one, which is called Ruby Rose. And then this other one here, which is called Snowstorm, which is this one here, which is sort of the diamondy one. So let's start with the paler ones. Let's just clean our brush up and make sure we've got it all out. So I'm just going to do this with cocoa butter. So I'm just going to literally pick up my Snowstorm one, and I'm just going to paint that straight over the top there like so. So it's all nice and sparkly. There we go. Let's put you over there. Once you start painting these, you'll see the little markings come out really clearly. Sometimes when you press them out, you think, well, I can't really see that. But actually, once you start putting on all these luster dusts, you will really see them stand out. This is the red one. So again, we'll just do this is, what do I call this one? I've forgotten now. Ruby Rose, that's it. So this is Ruby Rose. Again, you won't find these individually on my site. You'll only find purple and silver and gold on my site, and Whisper Pink. The rest of them are in a group together. There we go. I'll pop you there. Might make you a little bit darker in a second. We'll just give you a chance to dry. There we go. Right, clean brush again. So you can see as well, I've already made them a little bit darker. So you can see I started on a base of green, or I started on a base of blue. So that's what I've done to just try and help myself a little bit. It's not actually essential, but it does help. And then that one there is green. This one here is also green. So there you go. Change colour. And then we'll go to Fusion Blue. No, Frozen Blue. Fusion Green. That's it. Fusion Green, Frozen Blue. Yeah, just think Frozen as in the musical Frozen, you know. That's probably the best way to remember it, isn't it? Okay, and then we'll just colour those up. You can dust them if you want to, but I think cocoa butter just fixes everything. You just know it's not going off anywhere. So There we go, that's those done, not complicated at all. And now we'll put them in position and then we'll get ready to pipe around our crown. So let's bring those down here. So the blue one goes there, that's the little round one there. Let's catch hold of that. Okay, so that's the blue one. And then we have, let me just check what I'm doing here. Yeah, that's the red one. That one goes there. It's like a little jigsaw puzzle. Okay, if you've touched them and you've taken a bit of paint off, you can always go back and put that on at this point. Then you've got another one that goes in there, which is this sort of diamondy flash one here. Put that in there. Then you've got these other ones here and here. So we've got green first. Hold on, it doesn't help, these are quite wet. I'm trying to do this quickly, you see, so they're all a little bit on the wet side. Okay, and there's another one there. And then you're going to put another one there and another one there. So you've got all your diamonds in place. Now, I am aware that the crown does have fleur-de-lis, which is kind of another little bit that goes between, let's turn that around, sort of goes there and there. I've left it out of this design. If you want to add it in, there's no reason why you can't add it in, particularly those who are on the Imperial Crown course and they want to add those in. You could cut little bits out to do it, but I just wanted to keep this fairly simple, fairly iconic, so that you could look at it and go, I know what that is. You don't need it to be exactly the same. And then with my piping bag here, I've got Wilton 3 in. I'm just going to go across here like so, in white. I'm sure you're probably thinking, what on earth is she doing, because she's just painted that grey. But the reason I've painted that grey is because then this is going to get painted silver. So I need a base that's going to reflect what I'm going to end up doing over the top. So that's why. So I'm going to go across here like so and just pipe some dots. So these are our pearls. So this is now making it a little bit more 3D. So it's not a flat crown. It is actually quite a big one. Like so, and then we're going down here. Okay, now I've used a fairly big nozzle. You can use piping nozzle number 2 if you want to. You don't have to do it the way I'm doing it. If you want to use a smaller nozzle, you can, but this one works fairly well. Now you can see in between there's little gaps, and that's why I've put down a base coat first to stop that coming through as purple. Okay, and then we're going to go up this side here and across, and down, across here again. So just fill it in. It sort of, if you put the gems on first, it beds them in. Otherwise, if you go and put the gems on later, it's much more difficult. So you need to put those gems in first, okay? And then we're going to come across here, more gems like that. Now these are actually pearls. They're slightly different. And then you can see there's then a gap forming, and then we're going to go back and just pipe another row just to bring that down a little bit further. So we don't have a gap, so we don't want a gap between those two. So you should then just have enough space to do one extra row, like so. And then down this side and across the bottom here, another row. Ooh, I've got air bubble in here, felt that go. Okay, along here. Till we get to this point here, and then we join it. Then we can infill. So we then just take our bag, we'll go in between the gems, we'll go around. Like that. You can see it all coming together now, can't you? It suddenly makes a big change and you go, ah, I get it now. Okay, isn't that nice? Let's turn this round. So how far in advance can these make? Let's say Jubilee weekend on the Saturday. You could start making them the Saturday beforehand, no problem at all. Make all your gems. You could start doing all your gems now There's no reason why you can't get all those made and in a box ready to go. You could mix up your sugar paste in advance, that's all ready to go, and your royal icing, get that ready. And then I would start icing them from the Saturday before, and I would just literally sit down and just do as many as you want to do, and then just pop them in cellophane bags when you're done. When they're all dry, they've got to be dry, remember, because they're no good if you can't, if they're wet. And then seal them up and they'll be good. But, here she comes with her warnings. Be careful of this point here, because it's narrow. And if you put them in bags and chuck them in a box, I can tell you now, they will snap off this bit. So you want to make sure you try and back them up with a card or something, like a little piece of white card, and then pop them into a bag. It will help them to survive. Now, don't want to do all your crowns and then have all the tops snapped off. That would be very annoying, wouldn't it? You don't want that. You can see it coming round like that. Yeah, so roughly a week for cookies. I'll tell you what, you're not going to find anything in the supermarket that's going to be as cool or as fabulous as this. This is spot on what it needs to be. You're never going to find anything as lovely as this. And if you want to make a few for a few neighbours, you know, maybe you've got a few people at home on their own, perhaps fancy a biscuit to celebrate, why don't you make some up for your neighbours and just pop them over and say, here you go. Jubilee Day. Right, there you go. So that's it assembled. Then you've got one other thing to do. Then I'm going to switch over to one I did yesterday, and there is a reason for that in a moment, and I'll explain that in a second. So I'm just going to mix up a tiny little bit of black, and then I'm just going to do the little trim that goes across here. So I'm just going to sort of do a few sort of spots here, like that. Okay. Right, so that's it complete at that point. Then you would need to stop and you would need to let it dry. And the reason being is because you're then going to go on and paint all the little dots with silver. And we can't do that while it's still wet. So one I did yesterday, here's one I did yesterday, everybody. Okay, so there's a second one there. And then what we're going to do, we're going to use Wonder Dust Fine Silver, which is a fabulous colour. And we're just going to knock that into my container here. It's extremely glittery. I've got to remember which one's the one I just, oh yeah, that's the one I've just done. Right, let's move that out of the way. See that I can't even tell the difference. And then all you're going to do is take hold of the fine silver with your cocoa butter, and you're just going to very carefully pick up the fine silver and lay it on. You can't really paint it. I can only really describe this as a sort of a laying sort of situation where you just kind of blob it into place. So just going to go round like so and just paint up our crown. So we're just laying the silver down. Okay, I'll go down like that, grab a bit more. So you're going to need a fair amount to do this one. I'm just going to find, what did I do with it? I did it in my hand, didn't I, silly woman? Here we go. Let's put a bit more in there. I need a bit of extra glitter here. But you can see it changing now. It's now starting to look like the crown rather than sort of a blob of something else. So if you just put your cocoa butter on, plenty of it on, plenty of glitter, and just kind of lay it down like so. It will change. It will change it for you. And it shouldn't take that long, but you do need this royal icing to be dry. So please don't attempt to do this when the royal icing is wet, because what will happen is you'll just basically crush everything, and that will be no good to you at all. So you want to be able to, got a big chunk of it there. Try not to get it all over all over the purple like I'm managing to do as well. Try not to do that. It doesn't matter if a little bit gets on there, does it? Hey ho. Down there. You see, when you paint it, you don't really get much out. You literally have to almost scoop it out to get the amount of silver and glitter that you need on here, and then kind of, so what I'm sort of doing is pressing it down. I think that's the only way you can describe it really, is press it down. So that's what we're doing, is kind of just guiding and pressing it into place like so. I must keep an eye on the time. Oh my god, I don't know where the time's gone this morning. I've got to be off by 11. I've got to get a train at 11:30, so I need to make sure I'm finished. Right, we might be speeding up a bit here now. Okay. we've nearly done it anyway. And then I want to do these cupcake toppers, because these have become very, 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 very important message that I've been going on and on and on about all week, about how to get these off the backing sheets, because I don't want anybody contacting me during Jubilee and telling me they can't do it, because I have individually emailed 75 people this week about this process of getting these things off these sheets. So I'm hoping there is no stone left unturned. I have gone through my emails of every single person that's bought one of these Jubilee toppers and sent you instructions, but I am going to talk about it again just to make sure everybody is completely clear as to what they're doing with them, because again, I don't want any frights later on telling me they can't get their toppers off, because you can, but you just have to use the freezer. There we go, look at this. This is all coming together really beautifully now. I'm very happy with this. The last little bit coming up here. And as I say, when you look at the Imperial Crown, there is actually these lovely sort of what are called curly cues, which are fleur-de-lis, that you could put on as well if you wanted to go that step further. But I think, to be perfectly honest with you, that's probably all you need to do. It's entirely up to me what you do. But if you wanted to put those fleur-de-lis in there, you could pipe and paint them on as well if you want to. But by the time you've done that amount of work anyway, I think that's just lovely as is. And it is stunning. It's just lovely, isn't it? It's all glittery and lovely. I'll tell you what, if somebody picked that up, they would know exactly what it is. And that's the key to any sort of recognition of anything. You'd go, that's the Imperial Crown. And that is what I wanted people to know, how to do this. So it is a really lovely. Now, again, that's one unpainted and this one is painted. So this is fine silver, and so you are literally scooping it up like that, great big thick chunks of it, and using the cocoa butter then to place it. And then when the cocoa butter dries, then you have it will then fix into place. So again, just go round, scoop it up and pop it into position like so. But I'm very proud of my crown actually. So if you do fancy having a go at it, I've given you the full tutorial how to do it live here. The crown is on the website and it is on its way in. My man who does all my printing is on it, so we have got the wine glasses here. The crown's due in on Tuesday, so hopefully we should have them all then by that, but they are very lovely, aren't they? So I'm quite pleased with those. So let me talk about my other favourite subject while I move this out of the way, and that is cake toppers for Jubilee. So we've already had some. I'm going to show you the ones I did last week because I want to bring those in quickly as well. So I'm going to put those on there. I'm going to move my cocoa butter out of the way. Right, these are the ones I did last week. So if you missed last week's edition of Let's Shop, we did use these moulds here, which are tea and biscuit. So tea and biscuit moulds, I've had these in the past. In fact, the people that are on the school will have seen a tea and biscuits class. It's on, I have to think for a second now. It's on silver membership, gold membership only, I think. I need to check that. Anyway, it's on one of them. It's definitely on gold, I know that. So these are the moulds that I've used for the tea and biscuit class, and then obviously I have painted them. So I've painted a lovely Union Jack on the teapot because I do think that's a bit of an iconic thing that you could do, and then there is a little teacup there. You know, all that sort of tut that you like to buy, well I like to buy, let me put it another way, for events, royal events. I am that person who likes to buy all the if I told you about my tea towels, it's become a bit of a standing joke in our house. So on my oven door, who started it? My neighbour started it. My neighbour came back off holiday and she gave me this tea towel from Balmoral, and I thought, I love that. I love this tea towel. It's the best thing ever. Anyway, I thought I can't have anyone use my Balmoral tea towel because it's very precious now. So I've got a double oven in the kitchen at home. And so I've hung my Balmoral tea towel with the wrapper still on it over on this thing. Anyway, it's been there for ages. Now my daughter, who works for the House of Commons, has just presented me with a House of Commons tea towel. So I now have two iconic places with my tea towels hanging on my oven door, and they are going to be switched for Jubilee ones when we get round to it. So I will be out on that Thursday finding myself a lovely tea towel to go in my kitchen. I know this sounds like the world's saddest sentence, but for me it's highly amusing and I love it. So all things Jubilee, that's what I will be doing. So going back to what I was actually talking about, which was the cake toppers. So we have been selling cake toppers as discs. Now we've had some difficulties this week, as in they changed the paper. When I say they, I mean the company that we buy them from. Now I have to explain to you how cake toppers work. So when we use cake toppers to go through a machine to print out discs, they have to be used with a certain program. Now, when we have that program, very cleverly, the company have made us buy their discs, which is fine. So it doesn't mean that I get the opportunity to shop around and use the discs from this company or that company because it's a little bit cheaper. So this isn't something that I have done by choice. This is something that they turn up and I go, oh, they've changed the backing paper or whatever it is that they've done. Now, actually, it doesn't matter whether the backing paper is clear or plastic or any of these things. It doesn't make any difference. But what does make a difference, and this means all year round, so not just now but all year round, they can get stuck to that backing paper, and the only way to get them off when you're having a difficult time getting them off, and I've seen people going like so pulling them, is not that way. Now I did send very clear email. I've posted religiously about this all week saying please do not try and pull these off the sheets. You need to put them in the freezer. It's very simple when you put them in the freezer. You literally are going to cut your sheet in half if it's a small sheet and pop it in the freezer, shut the door, leave it in there for 30 seconds to a minute. And why have I given those guidelines? Because it's like an oven. Everybody has their freezers set at different temperatures. Your freezer could be colder than my freezer. And obviously the colder it is, the faster it's going to work. Now we are going to film a video on this to show you what it looks like when it comes out of the freezer. And I did try and do that yesterday, but actually what I ended up filming was my shoe rack. And I thought, I can't put this out because I look like an idiot. You could literally see my freezer, me in the corner, and then the shoe rack on the floor. And I thought, no, this is not happening. So I need to borrow Madam Kelly so we can go through this and you can see what happens. So basically, and you've got your sheet like so. So this is one of our printed disc sheets. All you're going to do, it's very easy, is cut across like this. And I'm going to explain to you why in a minute you're not going to put the whole lot in one go. So I'm going to tell you why. So let's say we're going to do just half a sheet. We're going to put it in the freezer door. We're going to shut the freezer. And we're going to wait. We're not going to go off and do something else and leave it in there for hours on end, because then you will have another problem on your hands, and it will be one of two things. You'll either get water going into them and they won't ever come off, or you will find that they will get so cold they will crack and they would just all fall apart. So don't go wandering off anywhere. It's 30 seconds to a minute. Now when it comes back out, if it's set rigid, it's been in there certainly long enough, give it a second, literally a couple of seconds, and then start peeling them off. Because when it gets to the point where it's really rock hard, what's happening is that it has frozen the sheet, and we need it just literally out of that zone, and then you can start peeling them off. Now you may not have this problem. You may find that these ones, for example, come off really easily, no problem at all. So it's only if you're having difficulties removing them from the sheets. So if you're not having any difficulties removing them from the sheets, do not go down that freezer line. You do not need to do that. This is just for people that are having problems removing the sheets. And the reason it can be affected is also because of the weather. And when it gets humid, and it is very, well, it's certainly getting warmer at the moment, you have more problems. And that is why I'm all over this like a rash, because there is not a fault with the sheets. It's another technique that you need to do in order to make sure that you can get them off the sheets. So your freezer is very important. Now, if someone turns around to me and says, I've got freezer, I've got an answer for you too as well, is you're going to put them in the fridge. But the thing is, if you put them in the fridge, they just have to go in for a little bit longer. That's the answer to that. You're just going to leave them in the fridge for more like half an hour. So freezer, maximum 30 seconds to a minute. If you get to a minute and you pulled them out and they're still not coming off the sheet, put them back in again and leave them for another 30 seconds. Bring them back out, have another look at them. It's all to do with your temperatures of your freezer as to how quickly this is going to work. So it's quite important. So I'm going to just do a very quick few cupcakes because I am now rapidly running out of time, and I'm pretty certain Chiltern Railways are not going to wait for me. So I'm just going to literally show you again with these discs. Now I don't have a freezer here, so I can't demonstrate to you how to do this. That's why I'm going to film a little video next week. But I am not having difficulties getting these off these sheets this morning. Now anybody who is doing Jubilee discs, I would strongly recommend that you make your discs sooner rather than later, because they will store exactly as I'm doing them with no problem at all. You can make them up, then you do not have that panic at Jubilee that you cannot get those discs off the sheets, because I will not be able to send you any more in time. Because what's going to happen is we're going into a bank holiday situation, and that means there will be no post. So please, please, please do not leave this until the last minute, because otherwise you will regret it and then you'll have some problems. So I'm going to now just put some water straight over these, like so. Now most of you know already that we have got several versions of this. So this is the Queen's Platinum Jubilee one. Bend the paper back and pull away. So all you do is then pop them into position like that, and then if you're getting ready for the Jubilee, you're just going to leave those to dry. You're not going to do anything else, and then when it comes to doing your cupcakes, you can literally just put them straight on top. Now we have got some other sheets. We have got this one here, which is another Platinum Jubilee one. There you go, you can see that there. That's got the Queen's head on it, so it's a little bit different from this one. This is on the slightly different backing paper. Can you see this is on the white backing paper? So this is the one that's causing the problems, but if I pull it and it's coming off okay, just keep going with the disc. You can release it like that. Do not release and then keep pulling from the same direction, because it's sugar paste, it will stretch, so it's not going to help you. So we're going to pop that one on there like so, and then we obviously have the crown, which I love. Obviously it's not as nice as mine. We have the crown there, so again similar. Start to pull. You'll find these will tug a bit more, but use your fingers to move backwards with it. Okay, very carefully. And then if it's starting to become a pain and it's a little bit tougher than you would like, off to the freezer you go. So you can see that one's tearing. Don't get to that point. Take it to your freezer, cut it off, and then they should just pull off like that. No problem at all. So I want you to be really sure and know that that's how you need to deal with it, okay? Now what I'm going to do here, I've got some red buttercream made up. Now this is the Pro Gel Red. So we're using Pro Gel Red as the main Jubilee colour. So let's pop that on there like that. Now we have got a Kelly Sprinkle Jubilee mix, which has just come out. So we've made this up for you. It is an exclusive to us as well. Now the Jubilee colours tend to be sort of purples, obviously silver, and white. So it is a different colour to the traditional red, white and blue. There we go, like so. I'll show you what they look like. There they are. So this is our Jubilee mix. Let me tip it on the side a bit. So it's a mixture of purple, white and silver, and that's our Jubilee mix on Kelly Sprinkle. So again, this is limited, so we've only got a certain number of these. We're not going to bother to get any more in because we have just done them for Jubilee. We've made this ourselves. We have created it ourselves, and it is going to be, well, it is available now. We have got some made up already. The other way I did last week was the blue sprinkles and the white ones, which I'm just going to show you again now so you can see how that works. So I'm just filling up my piping bag with my 1M nozzle. So again, if you're prepping for Jubilee, get your icing made, get your sprinkles ready, get your discs made. Don't leave everything until the day. It's too much to do. You can enjoy it so much more if you do all of this stuff in advance. Now, while this buttercream is still soft, we're going to get our sprinkles on. Like that. So we have got our Queen's disc going on there. And then we've got another one that's going to go on there, like so. And then we have got the blue Kelly Sprinkles. So we had these last week. We open them there. That's the blue ones there. So I'm just going to tip some out onto my little tray. Then what you can do is you can add in the white sprinkles. So you can put the two together. Just mix them up like that. You can do them separately if you want, but actually I just found it easy in the end just to mix them together. Take hold of your sprinkles, and then literally just press your cakes going around the outside edge. You've got your red, white and blue, if red, white and blue is the colours you want to go for, coming out straight away. Look at that. So pretty and so quick and so easy. Okay, so if you want to make boxes up for people, honestly, this is the way to go. Don't actually have to do too much and it looks fabulous. So look at that, isn't that pretty? So that's what you can do with that. Now if you want to do the other version, so if you want to do the Jubilee mix, I'm just rapidly looking for a piping bag. There we go. I'm going to just use a different nozzle because my other 1M nozzle is not in front of me. So I'll use a random nozzle. Me and buttercream, we have a great relationship on a live. So if it starts playing up, I shall only start laughing. So it better not. That's all I'm going to say. We're just going to take hold of this nozzle here. Now we don't sell these. These belong to Sugar and Crumbs. So this is just a nifty nozzle. And then what I want to do though is show you the Jubilee mix, but I want to show you it on a white cake rather than a... So I'm going to pick that up. And we'll just do some of these going round here. I just want the colour more than anything else. If I could have swirled the buttercream, I would have done, but anyway, I haven't. I've used this and that's all fine. And then the Jubilee mix, which is this one here, lovely colours there. You can literally just sprinkle all over your cupcakes like so. Probably looks better with a white background than maybe a red. Not sure, to be honest. In fact, I could try it, couldn't I? But that's what it looks like with. We'll have a vote in a minute, shall we? Whether it's red or white background you prefer. So this is Colour Splash. Sorry, no, it isn't. It's Renshaw's Red Pro Gel. Colour Splash Red is more of a pinky colour. So that's the one that you would need to do there. So I think the Jubilee mix there, which is this one, looks very nice on that background, but let's give it a go on the red. I don't know as it'll be so nice on the red, but we'll try anyway. You never know. It's nice to do these experiments and see what happens. Might be better. There you go, look at that. That's pretty cool, isn't it? Please note there are silver balls in here for everybody that knows and follows me. I do like a good few silver balls in there. So there you go. I think that's a pretty good contrast, isn't it, for you to see some of the different ideas that we've got on there as well. So that is white with the Jubilee mix. This is the blue sprinkles and the white sprinkles mixed together. That's the same. And then this is the Jubilee mix, but on the Pro Gel red. So the Pro Gel is Rainbow Dust. Yes, it's listed on our website as Rainbow Dust Pro Gel. It is different brand from Colour Splash. That's another company that makes Colour Splash. But this is the truest red colour that you're going to use for Jubilee. Now, someone said to me, I've had a couple of people ask me about, I can't think of the word now, the toppers for cakes. Now, I have got it here somewhere. Oh, there it is. We've got two toppers. And now I've actually laid out them slightly differently. So what I've tried to do is I've tried to narrow it down a little bit. So this one here is one of the sugar sheets that you can use. Again, you know what you're going to do with this, don't you? You're going to put it in the freezer to make sure you can actually get it off. Please don't try and tug away at this because it's going to rip. I can't get this off in here. It's definitely stuck. This has to go in the freezer. And if you're concerned about leaving it to Jubilee Day and you want to make sure you can get this off, then roll yourself out a piece of sugar paste and do it in advance. And then you've got it ready and you're not worried about it, and neither am I. Then you have got this topper here. So this is the other topper that we're using. Let me go onto this camera so you can see it a bit better. So I have come up with this one for the people that wanted a round disc, so something that was a 6-inch or 8-inch cake. Now I have taken, the idea being is that you would receive a sheet like that and then you would draw around it and cut out the shape that you want. So that's actually a 6. It will go up to an 8, so it fits comfortably into a 6-inch round, but it will go up to an 8. So you would receive it like this and then you will draw around it and make it the size that you want it to be. So it's on an A4 sheet, so you see there's still plenty plenty of space around it if you want to make it any bigger. That's the easiest way for it to be as multifunctional as possible to fit your cake. And if you just use either a cake board or if you use a tin, an inside of a cake tin, that works quite well. You know, if you've got one of those bottomless cake tins and you've made your cake and there it is, all looks great, pop it over the top of your topper and then just draw around it with a pen and then just chop round it. Job done. And then you've got that all sorted and you just cut it out, and then we're going to prepare it in advance. We're not going to leave it till Jubilee Day and have a stressful moment. We're going to get that done in advance, aren't we? I keep hinting we have to do these things in advance massively. So we're going to get everything ready. We're going to get all our toppers ready, and we're going to do all our even our big toppers, we're going to have those on sugar paste ready to go. So when those cakes come out the oven and they're standing in front of us, all we're going to have to do is lift the toppers and put them on, and we're not going to have a moment where we can't get those images off those papers. And if we can't get the images off the paper, what are we going to do? We're going to put them in the freezer for 30 seconds to a minute, and then we're going to go back and get it out of the freezer, and we're going to have our job sorted. So I know I'm reiterating this and I know I'm going on about this a lot, but it is super, super important. And I am going to email every single person that buys any of these toppers so they know you must not pull at these toppers because they will tear. Exactly like I showed you with the crown, they will just tear. If you are having difficulties getting them off, you need to use your freezer, and that's it. Okay, there is no other way around it. It's because it's more humid and they've changed the papers. I've looked at the new papers that have come in this week. They're a little bit easier than the ones before, so we'll probably just switch to those for the moment while we're still getting this all through. But just please be aware of this, because I don't want anyone ringing me up and saying they're having a problem. That is what you need to do, and we've already solved quite a few problems this week with it. So now we're on to a new phase where we know what we're doing. So that's what we're going to do with the Jubilee stuff. So we're coming up to the end of Let's Shop, because I say I'm off to London shortly, so we've started earlier today. There will be no Let's Shop next week because Kelly's birthday is actually next Saturday. She's going to be 22, and we're going to be celebrating, so we won't be there, but I will be out on wedding cake deliveries. I will be filming avidly next week because I've got 2 weddings and they will all be going towards the cake school. So anybody who is already on the cake school, you're going to be getting another couple of extra wedding cakes, so it's going to be excellent value for money. That's what I'm going to say. So we're going to be doing that, and yeah, it's really good value for money, and I would strongly recommend at £6.95 a month joining us, because you know what you get on there. Let's bring it up again. Get a Jubilee crown, everybody. Oh dear. The gold members this week, I'm going to try and do a live with you if anybody is gold, and just check that you're okay with your Jubilee crowns. Some of you have already finished them, so I've already seen some of the amazing stuff that has been done. So if you have just joined me and you haven't caught the beginning of this, you can go back and watch it once the live is complete, and you will also be able to watch it back on YouTube, because we are live streaming onto YouTube as well every Saturday, so you will be able to go on there and see that as well. So I have shown you the new cookie cutters, which is the Prosecco Glass, and also the lovely crown. Love the crown, which I'm very pleased with myself. So just remember, as I've said to you with the crown, if you are going to display it or put it into a treat box, it's probably worth mounting on the back of a piece of card just to stop this piece here breaking. I ran you a video on how to get it out with the cookie mix itself. So again, you leave it lying flat and you very carefully lift it out. If you leave it hanging in the air, it's going to snap and break, and it's going to be very difficult for you. So we don't want to be doing any of that stuff. So Let's Shop Cake Live is now open, so you can go across and have a look at the website. Any orders you place over the weekend up to Monday at 10 o'clock, as long as you have placed you're welcome to place more than one order, and we will combine the postage into one. So if you place an order now and then you go back and watch Let's Shop tomorrow and you go, well, actually I'd like that as well, or anything else that's on my website, tracyscakes.co.uk, it will all go into one basket, and we will refund the postage at the point of dispatch. Now the crown cookie cutters we're expecting in on Tuesday, so anyone who orders a crown cookie cutter, the post won't leave here till Tuesday, and so it will come out after that, but you will get them in plenty of time before Jubilee, and then you can crack on and get those all made and in advance for everything else. Anything else that I need to tell you about? Yeah, we had our new Jubilee mix. We have added also some new sprinkle mixes to the website. There is a summertime one. So we've had springtime, there is now a summertime one as well, but I'm kind of reserving that for our next few lives. But if you want to go and have a look at it, they're there already. So you can go and pop over and have a little look at the summertime mixes. There's a beautiful red, pink and white one as well. Love that colour combination. I think it's a fantastic colour, so underrated, red, pink and white, beautiful colours. So again, go and have a look at that as well. Right, so I am done for today. I will not be here next Saturday, so please make sure that we will be back on the 28th of May, which will be another lecture on Jubilee, mainly cake toppers, and then we'll be looking forward to other things, like we've got Father's Day rapidly approaching, so we'll be looking at Father's Day as well, some of the discs and bits and pieces on there as well, and what else will we be doing? And moving into summer, and then we will be changing some of the schedules with Let's Shop, because as we start to go through the summer, I have got quite a lot of wedding cakes to do. So the Let's Shop Live will be changing its schedule slightly, but we will keep you updated, and we will update you on here, and then I will update you on the events page on our website as well. So if you're thinking, when is she live? Go to the events page, you will see. Sign up for the newsletter via Tracy's Cakes and you will get all the information that you need. So thank you very much, and for all of you who've tuned in today for all my Jubilee lecture. And I will see you all again in 2 weeks' time. So have a lovely break, enjoy the sunshine today, and I will see you all soon. Thank you, Nikki, for all your help. I do appreciate it massively. So thank